This week on NHRA Today, Pearce is a student of stock at the Rock, while drag racers thunder down under. A Florida flashback to a funny car comeback, and the three-tiered wing as the coming thing. From Gainesville Raceway, home of the 24th annual Motorcraft Ford Gator Nationals, these stories and more on this edition of NHRA Today. Welcome back to Gainesville. Many of the sportsman racers participating here at the Motorcraft Ford Gator Nationals had planned to compete last weekend in Atlanta, but the storm of the century postponed that action until late June. Now, there is one part of the world that doesn't worry much about cold weather this time of the year, the Southern Hemisphere, particularly the land down under. On the southeastern coast of Australia lies the city of Melbourne, home to nearly 3 million people. And this metropolis on the shore of Port Phillip Bay is home to some of the country's leading economic and cultural institutions. So important is Melbourne that for part of this century, it was the nation's capital. And today it stands alone as the summit of speed in the Southern Hemisphere. Just north of the city lies Calder Park, a motorsports multiplex that recently hosted the largest drag racing event in Australia, the 27th annual Nationals.
Drag racing is already #1 in Australia, and I see a future of fantastic success. What we're doing today I can see be twice as good or 3 times better tomorrow.
Such phenomenal growth down under is reflected in both facilities and spectators.
Right now, there are 15 permanent facilities. We attracted just over 750,000 people to events around the country.
A visit to Calder Park and the Nationals is reminiscent of many events on the NHRA Winston calendar, from the speed parts displays at the manufacturer's midway to the appearance of junior dragsters. But the greatest similarity is on the racetrack. Just as in the United States, Nitro is #1 with racers and fans alike, despite the fact that much of the technology is expensive and comes from the States.
Down here, just probably doubles or triples the cost. There's not really any input as far as technology advances and all that down here. So it's sort of fly by the seat of your pants and just hope you don't make too many mistakes.
Peter's wife and partner, Helen, also put a more emotional price tag on their pursuit of speed.
You cut corners, you don't have nice furniture or anything of the nice domestic things that other women might crave for, but when it runs a number, who cares?
Top fuel dragsters are also common in Australia, and the star of the Nationals was Rachelle Splatt, who's been driving for only 4 months.
My dad used to drag race. He raced at Altered. I grew up around the drag strip with him. I've always loved it since a little kid and always wanted to do it. I always had a dream of racing a car, and it's happened.
Unlike NHRA, there is a third class of nitro racing in Australia, a wild and woolly world of top fuel motorcycles that can run under 6 seconds at over 200 miles per hour.
It's awesome, unbelievable, and basically totally out of control in spots.
For somewhat more sedate two-wheel competition, there is a hotly contested Pro Stock bike class, and the Pro Stock concept is carried over to its four-wheel brethren.
Here we run 6.5 pound per cube and a small block engine. My car's 2,300 pound with a 352 cubic inch engine in the car.
The last of the professional categories is top alcohol, which features dragsters, funny cars, and alders in heads-up competition. Supercharged cars are also prevalent in 2 other Australian categories, Competition Eliminator and Super Stock, which is home to what may be the most popular car in the country, Victory Bray's 200-mile-per-hour right-hand drive 57 Chevy. For a veteran like Victor, the growth of drag racing is quite welcome.
I'm sure there's a lot of American racers experienced this in the States many years ago, you know, and we're here right now, so anyone that wants to be in it, just come on over.
Any Americans who plan to come on over had better be prepared for temperatures over 100 degrees. In fact, the heat forces the race organizers to run most of the eliminations at night. In the final of top alcohol, the winner was sure to be Steve Reed. Either the Aussie funny car driver with a pair of E's in his name, or the Englishman driving the dragster who spells his name with an A. Settling the matter took barely 6 seconds as the Beretta in the near lane took a come-from-behind victory. Rostock Eliminator came down to a battle between Hans Van Dyke's homegrown Holden Commodore and the Pontiac Trans Am of Tony Wedlock. And the win was easily captured by national champion Van Dyke in the near lane. Peter Pearce extended his domination of the top fuel bike category as he rode to the title on his Kawasaki, courtesy of Jay Upton's Red Light. The funny car class was all Peter Russo for the second consecutive year. But Top Fuel had a first-time winner as Rachelle, the rookie, drove around veteran Charlie DeFilippo to capture both the championship as well as the hearts of the Aussie crowd. Now, no one will deny that Australian drag racing still has room for growth. But as information and technology reach their way across the Pacific Ocean, the sport and its participants have just cause for celebration.
The sport is all set to go, and it's going to become the big motorsport of this country without doubt, because all the others are falling over. Traditional motor racing is falling over. The spectator numbers are dropping. The only thing that is hitting spectator crowds in Australia today, and close on 1 million last year, is drag racing. And we believe it's going to continue on to be number one.